it's Stephen here for the Idiot Quilter, and today I'm going to start organizing my Christmas decorations and deciding where I'm going to place everything. So I've dug stuff out from last year, and I made a lot of stuff last year. I didn't realize how much I made. Plus, I've combined it with this year's stuff, and now I have to find places to put this all out. This might be a little overload here. I don't know if I'll put everything out. We'll see. I do want to focus on the things that I created. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to show you quickly everything that I have here on the tables, a little close-up shot. Then I'm going to show you the areas that I'm thinking will get decorations this year. After that, I have to decide where things are going to go. This is going to take a while, and I don't think I'm going to get it done in one day. Okay, let's take a little closer look here. So I have these two collapsible tables out right now to spread everything out so I know what I have. And here we have table runners, a whole bunch of table runners. And I think some of these are placemats, and I think that's a table runner. Now I made this last year in the hoop. It's a decorative ring. Some of this stuff I'm going to have to press again because it got a little folded up in the storage boxes. These are pillow slip covers I made for our big pillows upstairs, and it's making me think that maybe what I should do is just go from room to room or as I pull up things from here, just put them out somewhere. We'll see. So there's, like I said, this is a combination of things I made last year. There's another, whatever that is. I think I used it on my coffee table upstairs. But it might look better hanging on a wall. This is one of my very first banners that I made before I even got into quilting. I don't even know if this thing's going to go up. I made it with my Cricut Maker when I first got it. So I have these applique angels and some glittery foil vinyl on here, a couple of cheap poinsettias. I think I hung that on one wall. I wrapped up a dowel in washi tape. I don't know if I'll put it up or not. It's kind of primitive, but it does show me where I've come so far. So in this pile, there's more things. Now, some of these may have been used as a bed runner for my mother's bed in the nursing home, but this year I'm not going to be able to do that with her. So I don't know where I'm going to put those. I don't usually decorate the bedrooms, and I don't think I'm going to do that this year. So like I said, some of this stuff may not even get put out. A couple of socks I made last year too, which I think I hung from the fireplace downstairs. And these are little cloth coasters that I made as well. So I may put those out, or I may use those to sit under, say, a votive candle or something like that. I don't know right now. This is starting to overwhelm me. Back here I have this year's big project, the Starry Night Santa. And underneath that, there are some more banners that I made this year. In this pile, I have quilts. And then these are table runners, bed runners, skirts, I don't know what. Again, don't know what I'm going to do with them. Over here, we have the angels I made this year and that arrangement in the basket. But then in this pile too, I have, I made two of these this year as gifts, but I made one for myself last year. She's a little crushed. I have to fluff her out a little bit. My snowman. Of course, I've got my sugar chalet that I made this year, but last year I made the gingerbread house. This little tree that I made this year, and then my 3D printed tree. I've got Santa's sleigh, and oh, now I remember what those gold balls were for. I found in a bag. I put those in the back of this. And all this stuff, I also have my lighting. I gotta get my lighting out as well. This has, I don't know what this has. This looks like napkins. So again, that's something, I think I made those last year when we had a lot of people over for dinner, Christmas Day. These are not made by me. These come from the dollar store. They may or may not get put out. We'll see. More napkins. There's a couple of these little things I made last year. which are kind of nice, but again, they got a little crushed. They're supposed to stand up, but I think I will use them. I'll just steam them a little bit. Down in here are some neat little Christmas tree ornaments. I don't know what I did with these last year. I've got strings on them. I may have hung them on my tree. I have a very tiny tree. I don't know. But I have those, and plus I have ones, I have a ton of them in this bag as well. So we'll see what we do with those. They might serve as little accents at the foot of the tree, or, you know, scattered on some of the tables or things like that. This little dog I've had for probably, I've had this little dog longer than I've known Walter. And Walter and I have been together come this Christmas 37 years. So he's got batteries. He plays 3 little songs. I bought him at, well, this store doesn't exist anymore. It was a Woco, I think, or a Zellers, one or the other. Those stores don't exist anymore. And I put him out every Christmas. My little Augie Doggy, I call him. So he's definitely going to go out. I usually put him in a chair or something, sitting him up, kind of a thing. I've got some candle rings, which I did not make. And again, they were probably from a dollar store. Got my tree skirt, did not make that. Then I have these little, and they got a little crushed too in the packing, but I think I can get them uncrushed. They go around little tea light candles, kind of a thing, votive things. Those 2 little items I picked up somewhere in years ago, along with these little trees. These are commercially made things. I don't know where I picked them up, but I got them somewhere. So that's a whole lot of the stuff here, but underneath I have bits and bobs of things that, like, there's tablecloths in there, and those are just empty bags. I think there's a wine bottle cover someone gave me once. I never got rid of it. These little pre-wrapped up presents I think I put under my tree last year to fake it, since we don't give gifts to each other, so, you know, it makes it look like we have. There's this big light up bow that I used to put around the television set down here. I don't know if I will use this year or not. I might. And then these are little bits and pieces of, you know, foliage. Poinsettias mostly. Those are those little balls I was talking about that go in that sleigh. Remember where those are. So some of those things are like fill-in pieces here and there that I'll use. Now, just when you think that was all, oh no. Over here on this table, these are my Christmas wreaths. Why I have so many Christmas wreaths, I know not. And I'm thinking that the first thing I might do is put the wreaths up. Some of these go out on the front door of the house. Another one goes up on the fireplace down here. The doors that are down here, a couple of them go on that. So I've got my hangers here. I hope I have enough hangers. I bought a couple of extra this year. We'll see. But you see, this area here is a table, this bistro table, and I've been hanging quilts on the chairs. So I'm going to have to displace the quilts, put them probably over on my quilt ladder. Yeah, like I get more on there for now as temporary space, because my tree goes here on this table. So we'll see. Now, one of the areas I'm decorating is down here. This is my rec room, and this is our sitting area. So there's places, tables and things here that I will put little things, possibly some of the smaller table runners. I think I'm going to drape 1 or 2 of the quilts over the sectional. One thing I guess I didn't have, and I should have made this year, was pillow covers for these pillows to make them more festive. I suppose I have time. I could probably do that, and I've got lots of Christmas fabric left over, so I may do that. You see I have end tables here. There's areas back there where things can go. Coffee table here. Now this is the fireplace. And usually I take that picture down and I put one of my big wreaths up there. And then I'll put a little bit of, you know, artificial boughs around it and hang the socks on there. So I'll probably do that again today. This may be where Augie Doggy is going to sit this year. And here's the TV set I was talking about, where I put a bow right across the bottom of that, and it does light up. So I probably will do that again. And then, you know, along here, there's a spot on the wall here where I can put a Christmas table runner or banner. I've got this hanging up there right now. Over here is where I am thinking of putting the big Starry Night Santa. because that's just a rod. It can come down. I can prop the Santa up there. I don't know if it's too large. It's going up for sure somewhere. Here, where I have my shoes, these were a project I did some time ago with used high heels. I'll probably clean these off, and this will become another little display area. And maybe a few things up here. I don't like to displace too many of the things I already have in spots, because then you have to remember, well, you got to put them somewhere, right? So you got a problem with that. So I like to decorate around them. You've already seen the quilt rack. And then there's this table here. And right now it holds miscellaneous table runners and these little figurines. I may clean this off and make that a display area as well. So I've got my work cut out for me, but this is just the downstairs. Let's go upstairs. Now this is our living room and our dining room combination. Now here you can see I have what people already consider a Christmas village, but it's really not a Christmas village. It's up all year round and it lights up at night. So that stays. Dining room table, probably put a runner on it, maybe a couple of other things. We'll see. We probably won't be using this table this year for Christmas, since there'll only be Walter and I. And then in this area, which is an area of the house we don't use a lot, I have the fireplace, but I made that mantle scarf with this in mind. So I'm thinking some of my things are going to go along there. And I'll either incorporate what's already up there with them, or I will take some of those things down and just put them in temporary storage. I do have potential for things up in these little windows. And down here is my front door. And so this area too, I could probably put a few things. And I do have a banner I made that I want to hang from over in that area, but I could hang other banners over here as well. Now the kitchen, living room, family room, whatever you want to call it. I made those pillow covers last year, which will go on these big pillows. I may put a quilt over one of these couch backs. I have the end tables and the coffee table, all potential places. And this will be principally the area that I will decorate. There will be a table runner on here, possibly some, I don't know if I'll put out placemats on the table. Some people do that, they set their whole table up, but we use this table. So it's easier if I just put a table runner and a centerpiece on it. I may keep that centerpiece and just incorporate some silk poinsettias into it, which is probably what I'll do. Leave it so it's easy to take that stuff off when we go to eat and put it back on again. Maybe something over here in this area, we'll see. So you can see I have a lot of areas for potential for decorating, and I have a lot of stuff. So we'll see where it goes. So I've got the wreaths all up right now. And these are my little dinky ones that just go on the doors to my sewing room and to Walter's workshop. And then we have this big one here, which I made many years ago, which is all made out of textbook paper that has been tea dyed. And I always put that up because I really like it. It's getting a little ratty, but it's still okay. But then I filled in the fireplace. So the fireplace has two of my quilts, the Starry Night Santa one and the Attic Window Santa. And I've put the big wreath on the wall above it, some garlands, some socks, a couple of other little ornaments there. And I've got Augie Doggy sitting there. His friend's on the other chair, but they always sit there. And I also put out that Light It banner on the TV set. It goes right there. So now I think I'm going to sort of put a few things around on the tables, and that I'm saving the Christmas tree for last, basically. So we'll see where we go from here. Oh, I also put the wreaths on the outside door, so I'll show you what that looks like. So I'm outside of the house right now, and I've got my wreaths and banners up on the front doors, and you can see that it's snowing, and it's December the 1st, and it looks very pretty, and let's hope it melts away very quickly. It is very wet snow, so it probably will. But here's what the front looks like. Now my banners are covering, or the wreaths are covering the door a little bit, but I still think they look pretty good. And my last wreath I've put up here in the entryway. This is where we come upstairs to go into the living room and the kitchen. So this one I've had for many, many years. I made it out of corks. I can't remember how long ago I made it, but I would say, I think I made it when we lived in the other house, so that's over 25 years ago. I don't even know if I put it up last year, but this year, this is where it's going. And I'm thinking of maybe some banners here and some banners here. Okay, so I've put out a few more things on the tables. So over here, I have a Christmas runner that I made the first year I started quilting. It's not even quilted. I think it's when I got my serger, and I just took a piece of fabric and just serged all the way around it. So it's not perfect. And then I have these remote control candles sitting in these candle rings and these little doodads that I've had for years. And then on the coffee table, I put one of this year's table runners, the one that I created from a kit that I got from the quilt store, quilting cupboard up north of me, and that I first didn't like, but I really like it now, and I like the blues. So I thought what I'd do is I put this green little tree. It's kind of a sad little tree. I've had it for many years, but it's there. And I put these little votive candles, which are also battery operated. Unfortunately, not remote control. I suppose I could get remote control ones. Makes it easier for turning them on and off. But I put those on those coasters that I had made a year or two ago as well. So that table's done. And then over here, I just simply put another candle, and with this big in the hoop embroidery wreath that I made last year. And it sits here with another remote control candle and a couple of poinsettias. I decided to move Augie Doggy over to this side. Just gives a little bit more balance. And now I had a dilemma. It'll have to work. I have a whole lot of chairs, and this is where my Christmas tree is going to go. I've got the skirt out, but I have more chairs than enough. The tall chairs are meant for the bistro table, but the little chairs are meant for my mother's dining room table, which I now have, and it sits over there in that corner with those things on it. I don't know if I'm going to put anything on that table yet or not. I haven't decided. I have in the past. But you see, I have all these dining room chairs for that table, which all folds out, but the chairs don't fold up, and I can't even stack them. So this corner's always been a problem for me with those chairs, but I have arranged them, and of course I've been using the backs of these chairs until we get another quilt ladder built, an idea that I have for this space. I have folded them up and put them on the chairs on the end. They add a little color. Once the tree is up here and that, I don't think this will look quite as desolate on sort of like a storage corner. But that's where the tree will go when I get to that. Now, I did take one of my quilts and I put it on the back of this couch. But what I did, let's move around to this side. Don't mind these cushions that are sitting here because these are the ones I lay on when I'm watching TV. They wouldn't be here if we had company, but we won't be having them this year. So what I did was I folded it diagonally and draped it into this center section of the couch because neither one of us sit in that part. Now, you know, I was saying I should maybe make some covers for these cushions. Well, this is the back side of the cushion, and it's two different fabrics, but I thought it blended in not too badly with this quilt. So I just flipped it around. You see, this is the other side, and I don't like that with the quilt. Now, the one thing I don't like is the fact that, you know, it's an envelope finish, but the colors are kind of the gold goes, and so I just flipped the other one in the other corner around too. If I get a chance, I might make a couple of new slip covers for those, but right now they serve the purpose. So the next thing I've got to tackle is, I think, the fireplace mantle upstairs. I'm saving the Christmas tree for the last thing. Okay, so I did have a landscape art quilt that's been hanging up there, but I cheated. I didn't want to take it down, so what I did was I clipped this Christmas quilt, or Christmas bed runner actually is I think what I made it for a long time ago. Well, long time ago was last year. and just clipped it to it. So I'm kind of an idiot quilter, but I'm hiding the other one because I didn't want to take it down. So now I took some of my banners, or i.e. table runners, and I hung them from the banisters in the front doorway of our house. And what I did was I just looped them over, got them to the length I wanted them at, and I just pinned them together, and that's holding them there. And on this one, I added this little doily with a angel, freestanding lace angel that I made last year, and I just pinned that to this just to break up the design a little bit. So now I think the next stage is going to be the family room and the fire mantel piece. Now I don't usually decorate bathrooms, but this is the bathroom off our rec room, and so it's sort of like a guest bathroom. So I had this banner, like I said before when I pointed this out, I made this banner, one of my first projects I made with my Cricut Maker when I got it. That was before I started quilting, and I was just cutting out things, using it, and adhering them to a piece of fabric, which I went around with a serger, I think, on that. I had an old serger at that point in time, and just put a couple of cheap poinsettias on it and hung it. So I was debating whether to hang it up or not, but then I had this bracket already up here with something else on it that fit perfectly, so I put it there. And of course I found my towels that when I first got into embroidery, one of my first projects I did on these towels as well. So the bathroom is decorated too. So the family room is all finished, and you can see here I put things on the end tables, and I've got little lights that are LEDs that I use these actually at Halloween, and I'm using them now in these. This is the snowman, and you just saw the angel, and so they give a nice little glow underneath. And you might be wondering about the lights right now in here. Well, these are hue lights, and I've just switched them to the Christmas light setting, so it goes into shades of red and shades of green. And you can see that on the couches I have put a quilt, and I covered my usual couch cushions with slip covers that I made last year, and the same over here. On the center coffee table I have a ring that I made. It was an in the hoop design I made last year, and this little Christmas tree, which I don't know where I got it, but I've had it for 1,000 years, and I thought it looked nice right there. And then on my kitchen table I put one of my runners, and this centerpiece is always on this table, but I thought I'd just Christmas it up by putting some dollar store clip-on glitter poinsettias right onto the existing floral that's in this vase. Just gives it a little bit of a Christmassy spirit. So let's take a look now at the final stages of the living room. So on the dining room table I replaced my fall runner with this Christmas runner I made a while ago, and it was one that I did prairie points on, and you have seen that in previous videos. But I think it looks nice on this table, and this is a fairly large table, so it covers it quite nicely. And here's my fabric basket with the dollar store foliage that I showed you before, that I made from a kit, and it looks great as a centerpiece here on the table. Now on the living room, or in the living room part, I threw over the couch a small bed runner, and on the coffee table in front of it I have the Dresden Christmas table runner, another in the hoop project that you have seen me working on in the past, and a little angel with another one of those LED lights in it. And on the back of this chair I put a small, this is actually a table topper, but I thought it looks nice for Christmas on the back of the chair. Kind of reminds me of those old head doilies that people used to put on the back of their chairs in a time gone by. No one sits in this chair. It was the cat's chair. So I thought might as well decorate it up. Now on the mantle I have my scarf, my mantle scarf, and I put my gingerbread house and my sugar chalet both in the hoop embroidery designs. One I made last year, the gingerbread house, and the other one I made this year, and a couple of the freestanding angels that I made this year. And I have these little glowing lights that actually come on a very, very thin copper wire that I bought from Amazon. and they're on a remote control as well. So, and supposedly there's a timer built in them too, but you have to turn them on at a time of day when you want them to come on, and I think they stay on for about 6 hours, then turn themselves off, come back on in 18 hours, so they come back on basically the same time every day. That's to be seen. So I have all of that, and you notice I incorporated the clock that was already on the mantle into this display simply because I didn't know where to put it. Plus, it kind of fills out the mantelpiece a little bit. I try to not put too many things away while I'm decorating. If I can incorporate them, I do, because I never remember where I put them. And I'm finding them for the next year, realizing that, oh, that was over there, wasn't it? So if I don't put them away, or if I don't put them too far away from where they are located, usually, then I don't miss them. So let's take a look down at the front doorway. Now, I already showed you this area earlier and showed you the banners, but I have added to this area this, I guess it was originally I made it as a wall hanging, but I thought it looked kind of nice right there over the back of the deacon's bench. And actually underneath that deacon's bench is the quilt that usually sits there. Again, if I leave them where they normally are when I take down the Christmas decorations, I won't forget that I put them somewhere else. And on this little table, I had one little table topper left, and I thought, well, why not put it here? And this table already has this little bouquet of red silk flowers, which are, you know, at Christmas time, red's a festive color. So I just thought, put them there. Hello. And it kind of changes the whole look of that area just with that simple table topper. So the only thing left to do is to put up the Christmas tree. So last but not least, I have my Christmas tree all done, and it doesn't look too bad sitting there, even though there's a lot of chairs in and around, but hopefully people, well, nobody's coming over, so what am I worried about? It's just Walter and I. But if people were to come over, if it was regular times, then I'm hoping that their eye will go to the tree and ignore the chairs that are everywhere. And if we go in a little closer, you will see I use the theme of silver and blue. And I have all these little mini lights that just blend into the background with my rainbow angels and my Santa sleigh and my little fabric stars. And I think it's turned out pretty good. Just do a little sweep around the downstairs room. You've seen everything upstairs now. But there it all is. And yeah, Christmas decorations are up for one more year. And hopefully next year when we put them up, we'll be anticipating that we will have people over. We can only hope.